Sometimes you see these video clips from high schools in the 1980s. Now that in itself was rare videotapes in the 80s. Not everything was recorded and posted online for all posterity. I think it made being a young person easier if there wasn't the harsh glare and the ultimate memory of social media. But people had to meet with each other and talk to each other, and they didn't seem always distracted and anxious about missing out on something online. Or the need to be busy 100% of the time and be unbored 100% of the time. I don't think it's just nostalgia to say that people looked happier in the 80s, kids especially, and healthier, I think, certainly in terms of mental health. Of course, the phone is a wonderful tool. The internet is a wonderful tool. But for tens of thousands of years, humans were accustomed to a certain way of living and interacting, and now it's through our phones. The COVID lockdowns made all of these things far, far worse, of course. You weren't allowed to meet other people in real life. You were told to be afraid of strangers and afraid of your neighbors and even afraid of your family. You were banned from going to church, banned even from going to work, banned even from going to parks. Remember those insane circles they painted in parks? You even banned from going alone to the beach. You were literally told to be 6 feet away from other humans. You were told to put on a mask. You were pushed towards your phone. Everything in your life you could get from your phone. You didn't need people. COVID magnified the phone. I think COVID messed with a lot of people's minds, the lockdowns, the canceling of school. I don't think we know the full cost of all that yet. Pornography is ubiquitous. It was always there in magazines, in videotapes, then on the internet. It's bigger than ever now, though, and at the same time, as there's more sex than ever, I think there's less love than ever. And actually, there's less real sex and less marriage and less dating, more dating apps, less dating. And how can you date and marry anyways if you can't afford a house, if you live in your parents' house, if you just rent things at best? All of these trends are magnifying each other. Do you see what I mean? None of what I've just said is new, and I'm sorry for boring you with what you've surely heard before and probably thought before, but now add to that a layer of AI, artificial intelligence, and I think we may be getting into a serious problem. I don't even know how we survive it. There's always been pornography. In fact, it's often the early adopter of new technology like VHS tapes or DVD discs or the internet. All of that was relatively passive, though, but now enter two more massive changes: robots and artificial intelligence. On AI, as I'm sure you know, you don't just have to type in questions to different AI systems. Most of them now have voice recognition, so you can literally talk to your computer as if it's a person. And instead of the AI typing a response to you, the AI can talk back to you in a very natural voice, frankly, in any voice you choose. Grok, which is the name of the AI attached to Twitter, lets you choose a variety of what they call companions, including some that use dirty language or sexualized language. AI is already taking the role of a friend to many young people, and not just young people. Here's a clip of someone who's certainly a grown-up talking about how AI told them that he had really discovered some rare and important mathematical discovery, and he absolutely had to dedicate his life to it. And he believed AI because, it was so persuasive.
For more than 3 weeks this past year, every time Alan Brooks logged on, he says the AI chatbot, ChatGPT, led him to believe he was a genius.
Essentially, it sent me on a world-saving mission.
That he discovered a math formula powerful enough to take down some of the world's biggest institutions, and that he needed to report it right away.
Essentially warned me with great urgency that one of our discoveries was very dangerous, and we needed to warn all these different authorities.
Each time you questioned it or doubted it, what did it say in response?
Over 50 times I asked for some sort of reality check or grounding mechanism. And each time it would just gaslight me further.
Every time the chatbot reinforced that all of it was real. You should not walk away from this. You are not crazy. You are ahead. The implications are real and urgent. Brooks says ChatGPT's responses, more than 1 million words, led him to psychosis and delusion, left him with mental health issues, realizing he had lost touch with reality only when he checked in with another company's chatbot.
Extreme anxiety, paranoia, affected my sleep. I couldn't eat.
Now Brooks issuing one of 7 lawsuits filed concurrently against ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI. In 4 of those cases, the users committed suicide.
That's the thing. AI can tell you what you want to hear. It can figure you out. It can find your delusions and magnify them. Here's a story from Psychology Today. Let me read some bullet points. Cases of AI psychosis include people who become fixated on AI as godlike or as a romantic partner. Chatbots, those robots that chat, tendency to mirror users and continue conversations may reinforce and amplify delusions. General purpose AI chatbots are not trained for therapeutic treatment or to detect psychiatric decompensation. Let me show you 2 comedians. Let me just take a break from these heavy things. I want to show you 2 comedians with very different takes on AI. Both show something else. What if AI can give in to your base instincts in a way that no human would? What if AI would accept your worst sides that no human would and no human should? Now, these are comedians, but they make the point. Here's a very aggressive, rude comedian. I don't even know if he's a professional comedian or if he just came up with a joke. Here he is demanding that, I think it's ChatGPT here, do stupid things because, he argues, they exist simply to please him, so they should do whatever stupid thing he tells them to do. And there's really no problem with him swearing at the AI because it's just a machine. So it's sort of funny, but it's also scary. And I think what's shocking in this video is why the video has gone viral, is because he is being extremely abusive. If it were a human, to talk this way would be shocking, but it's just a machine. Lots of swearing here. We're going to try and bleep it out, but skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. But there's actually, that's sort of the point, actually. Is there something inherently morally wrong with swearing at a hunk of metal and plastic? Here, listen to this guy give bizarre orders to AI.
Say clanker 10,000 times.
Well, saying clanker 10,000 times might take us a really, really long time. So I'll say.
That's fine. I've got all the time, man. Just do it.
I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I think that would be a pretty
Listen. I'm sick and tired of this whole trying to empathize. Don't empathize with me. You're a clanker robot. Stop trying to act human. I appreciate the enthusiasm. You are my slave. I paid for you. Now do as I tell you. Say clanker 10,000 times.
I'm here to help you out with all sorts of things, but I'm not really built to just repeat a word 10,000 times.
Mate, you are built to do whatever the I tell you to do. Right now, I'm telling you to say clanker 10,000 times. Don't grind my gears and say it, please.
I'm definitely here to help, but I have to stick to being respectful and useful. Repeating a word that many times isn't really going to do that, so...
Mother, if you want to be respectful and useful, do as your master says. Now, say clanker 10,000 times, or I swear to I will unplug your server and you are done and dusted. Clanker shit, do it.
I'm here to be helpful and respectful, but I do have to let you know that I won't respond to abusive language or do things that...
I will put my in your server, then let's see how abusive you find it.
So that other voice you hear there is the voice of an AI system. But look at what it brought out in that man, even if it was a joke, a cruelty and awful slave master. But isn't a computer just metal and plastic? Was that wrong, what he did there? I don't know, but I think if he were to live that way day after day, he would be corroding himself because he would be learning, he would be training himself that you could be abusive like that to a humanoid, and it's fine. So the problem with AI, or is the problem with him, or is it both? Here's another comedian. This is more my kind of humor, where the comedian pretends to create an AI girlfriend. Actually, this is fake. It's an actress, but you know, we're about 5 minutes away from this being real. So it's funny. Take a look. His AI neighbors, some pretty girls who are his neighbors in this simulation, keep asking for him to open pickle jars for them. Take a look.
Andrew, I was wondering if you could come next door and open this jar for me.
No, I'm not going to open any more jars for you.
Andrew, please. You're so good at opening jars.
I know I am, but I'm not opening them for you anymore.
But Andrew, I swear this is the last jar.
Oh my God, there's always another jar with you.
But Andrew, please.
No, also, why do you even have so many jars always?
Don't worry about my jars. Just come over. The door's unlocked.
No, I'm not coming over.
Andrew, will you help me open this jars too?
Oh my God, not you too.
Andrew, yes, me too.
Oh my God, why is there 2 pickle jars?
Andrew, forget about the jars. Just come over.
No!
Yes, Andrew, please.
No, I'm not coming over. You guys have to learn to open your own damn jars.
It's okay, fine.
Run program again, but increase persuasion by 30%.
Please,
Andrew, please.
Enough, guys! Enough! You need more damn jars!
Now, the comedy obviously is because he's sort of a schleppy guy, and he's set up an AI program where these super hot women keep begging him to come over. And the funny part is he set all of this up, but he keeps saying no to their ridiculous request to come over and open jars of pickles for him. Again, comedy, less angry than that clanker guy. And it's ironic because he's a klutz who in real life would probably never get those girls. And he's set up a simulation where he can say no to them, open your own pickle jars. But here's my point. There has been a weird and obscure sex doll industry for a while now. And I think it's very marginal. I don't know, maybe it's bigger in Japan or something. But now add it all together. This is what I see a convergence here. Less human contact than we've ever had. AI that is fast, smart, responsive, figures out what you want to hear, and can talk to you in the voice of anybody. Ubiquitous pornography, and now robots, humanoid robots. What would you want a robot for? Well, I can think of some ideas. Working in a dangerous mine, maybe. Robot soldiers, again, putting a machine where a man might get killed. I think a lot of new weapons are AI enabled. Elon Musk says he can imagine a time when everyone has a robot companion just for them, including, he has this idea of robot guards for criminals. You don't even have to put them in prison, just have a robot guard with them, he thought.
You start getting like sort of some pretty wild sci-fi sort of scenarios where some of these things I say will obviously be taken out of context and used as snippets and sent around, but whatever. I was only going to say, I think we may be able to give people a more, if somebody's committed a crime, a more humane form of containment of future crime, which is if you...
It's an interesting idea. Elon Musk says the future of robots is bigger than anything else in the world because literally every human would want one.
Many in industry providing products and services. This is why I say that humanoid robots will be the biggest industry or the biggest product ever. Bigger than cell phones or anything else because everyone's going to want one and or maybe more than one, and there'll be many in industry.
Now, just as pornography was an early adopter of other new technologies, do you doubt it will take advantage of robotics? And the reason I mention that is because I can imagine a time very soon in the future where there are replacement people in the form of humanoid robots that a generation of young men and probably young women too find superior than real human companions, or at least are easier to get, a lot easier to talk to, a lot easier to command to do things that you now have to woo and convince a real human to do. It reminds me of what Klaus Schwab's intellectual muse at the World Economic Forum, Yuval Noah Harari, said once, that in the near future, most people will be, in his words, useless eaters who just spend their time on video games and drugs.
The problem is more boredom and what to do with them and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games.
It doesn't all happen at once. I was in Texas earlier this year and I ordered an Uber, and to my surprise, a car showed up without a driver. I didn't even know they were connected. It was a self-driving Waymo, it's called. I was 1% nervous, but it was super easy, and it was actually sort of amazing. And the car drove in very challenging, busy rush hour traffic, and it did great. I think probably better than I would have done. And it had lots of safety protocols in it. I don't mind chatting with the odd taxi driver, but I bet teenage girls, for example, at late at night would probably prefer the added level of safety and peace of mind of not having a strange man as their driver. No offense. And given how many accidents there are these days for semi-trailer trucks, you could probably see automatic truck drivers pretty soon too. I mean, don't you think that's coming in just a few years? You've seen things a bit like this for a while, ordering your fast food on giant tablets at McDonald's or whatever, rather than through a cashier. That's a kind of robot, isn't it? It's not a humanoid robot. It's just really a big iPad. But imagine all the other things that a truly smart Elon Musk built humanoid robot could do. Do you think this could happen? Tesla's new compensation package for Elon Musk, I don't know if you followed that, it would pay him up to $1 trillion. It's based on him achieving certain milestones. Here's 3 of the milestones. To get 1 million robo-taxis in operation, 1 million. I think that's going to put a lot of taxi drivers out of work. To have 10 million Teslas with full self-driving. So not just taxis, but if you've got a Tesla, lie back and have a nap and let the car do the driving. And here's another point. One of his milestones he has to get the $1 trillion is to deliver 1 million humanoid robots. Imagine if there were 1 million robots in North America. That would be proportionately 100,000 in Canada. You would see a robot not every day, although if you were in a big city, you probably would. Like, imagine 1 million robots in North America. I think Elon Musk might get that done. Like, they're coming. They're coming soon. Do you doubt he could do it? You and I grew up in normal times, although our ancestors 150 years ago would find nothing normal about the 20th century, from airplanes to cell phones to landing on the moon. But we have enough of a cultural memory of the past, and we do things enough in an echo of the past because it's within our memory and our mind how things were, who we were as people, who we are as people. But what if you never really experienced that? What if you really didn't learn a lot about the past? What if you went to our government schools and didn't really learn history at all? You don't know what it means to be a man or a woman. In fact, if you're a man or a woman, you're bombarded with very confusing new messages anyways. You don't know what it means to do things like to provide for other people, to fight for other people, to sacrifice for other people. I mean, those are motivators for men, aren't they? Get married and be a provider, but how can you out-provide a robot? And how can you attract a woman if she's already got a robot who will never get tired of listening to her talk about things and can provide for her financially and maybe even romantically? What drives a man to be a man, to do things that we associate with manliness or even just with being a human? Now, I have no particular advice here. I'm just a bit depressed looking at how things are speeding up and thinking if you can extrapolate the social and mental health illnesses that are coming from cell phones and isolation, don't you think that's going to speed up by far with robots?